What's going on, everybody? It's Zack and Heather with Unchained. So this is a super big development for us, and we're very excited about this project. But I preach so much to everyone that I work with to listen to your market. Sometimes I gotta listen to that market myself. So we've had a lot of people asking for this for quite some time. So I think this is we're excited to bring this to you. I mean, I don't know.
Finally.
I know. Well, so this was we originally tried this with 6 shots with Zack and Heather. What did you think about that?
I mean, it did great. I think everyone really enjoyed it, and we got a lot of good feedback from it. But it was like right in the heart of when we were starting ROI. Just had Lottie. Like there was just a lot going on. So it kind of got put on the back burner.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, at the end of the day, we've come leaps and bounds from where we were then. We got a lot more experience in our personal lives, a lot more experience in our professional life. And we've had, so since then, for those of you who don't know, like I own Uncaged, which is a men's only accountability group. And then Heather owns Unleashed, which is a women's only empowerment group. And through the years, but also significantly since we started these individual channels for us, or projects rather, a lot of people said like, man, we would love to have y'all's experiences and see that, left brain, right brain, male version, female version, of these concepts. So I think that's pretty, I mean, how did we even come up with this?
How did we?
Yeah.
I think we were drinking one night and we just kind of were like, had other people were like, y'all should really talk about this stuff and da-da-da. And then we were probably drunk one night and was like, hey, let's do this. And that's how the 6 shots came about. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how it kind of really came into play.
Yeah, so 6 shots, for those of you who weren't around then, we actually laid out 6 shots and we would take them. And that's where this podcast came from. And it was essentially a play on, drunken words or sober thoughts. And,
I think we've learned over the couple years now too that that's not always true either.
No, I think
so I'm glad we're redoing this.
Yeah, I think so. And also I think from kind of where we've developed as both individuals, which has led to our relationship strengthening, is that, it doesn't have to be that. Back then, I feel like for us to talk about some of those hard things, like we did have to have a little bit of liquid encouragement, versus now we've seen that it's actually more detrimental to keep it in than like going ahead and, getting it out in the open and having that open discussion. So I think we've grown.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So, yeah, just for those of you who are just now tuning in, obviously this is the first video that we've put out, or the first episode. And we just kind of want to introduce the channel, right? Like, what does an Unchained mean to us? And so there's a play on words when it comes from Uncaged and Unleashed, which is still something we believe wholeheartedly in. So Uncaged is all about uncaging your inner beast. Unleashed is all about unleashing your inner savage. And we do believe in that. Like, from the worlds we come from, we see so many people suppressed. Their feelings are suppressed. Their emotions are suppressed. Their stories are suppressed. Their past is suppressed. Like, there's just all this suppression. And so we wanted to give people platforms to be able to open up and become that greater version of themselves. And while we see that there's a massive, massive need for this individually, I would say that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on wanting us to do this collectively for a co-ed group, because we care very strongly that me speaking to my men in a very hyper aggressive way like I do, there is a need for that. Like I'm not kidding, accountability. Like I'm holding my guys hyper accountable to the goals that they have, because what the fuck is the use of having goals if you're not going to achieve them? And then she is providing these women this empowerment group to heal and to grow and to communicate and to flourish. And she's being, very blunt with them on that platform. So
I think I have gotten a lot more aggressive here recently.
I think so.
I've had to.
It's what's needed,
Yeah.
So
you need a fire under your ass, and it just has to be done and said. So.
You do, and I definitely think both of these platforms are not about telling people what they want to hear, but telling people what they need to hear. Like,
yes, absolutely.
no one needs yes men in their lives. And if we do genuinely care about you, we got to tell you what we really, really think. And I think that's the most valuable thing we can give anyone. But anyways, I think that as we've developed these platforms of, badass beasts and badass savages, that we are seeing a disconnect there of their significant others in these people's lives, because there's always the first person to make the leap. I feel like there's always, there's very few times where I've seen couples come out of their shells at the exact same time and be like, all right, we're both going to do this. So, I think, and I'm not saying that all of our platforms are feeling like they're stranded or leaving someone behind, but I know that there's a need for that, finding that open line of communication and seeing how to work through certain things as a couple now. Obviously, and I'll let you kind of give your opinion on this, but like, we don't want this channel to just be about like couples, right? It is more of just a co-ed version of what we're doing individually. So like, what would you like to see come to Unchained that like you're hearing from your side? Like, what do the women need to hear? What do the women want a male's perspective on, or what do the women want their significant others to hear? If, someone comes on this channel, what can they expect, do you think?
I mean, honestly, like, it's hard for women, I think, to actually open up and say what they really mean and feel. Like, we always have to watch what we say, walk on eggshells and things like that. So I feel like actually just coming on here and talking about your day-to-day life, talking about your sex life, talking about, I mean, literally your work, everything. There's two perspectives now. There is the male talking about it. There is a female talking about it. And, they're going to learn from both of us, because they may be like, well, shit, like I agree with Heather, but also like Zack made a really good point. So I think like in all aspects of it, like either way, you're going to get something out of this for literally everything that you're doing with your life. It could be because you're single and you're like, maybe I'm going about things in the way that I shouldn't be, or maybe like I'm not understanding because I'm thinking this way, but now I'm hearing this person say this, so I'm understanding it that way now, and maybe that'll change how I'm looking at things in life. So I mean, I feel like it's going to be really literally about everything.
No, no, I agree. Well, it's funny you say that too, because like we're about to get in Uncaged, we're about to get into our relationship segment of things over the next 4 weeks. And, that's why I am bringing in you and Chrissy and some female perspectives, because for me, it's like I can tell my dudes like what I think women want. Hey, I get the fuck out of here. But, obviously, like, for some of my guys, like they're single, but they're desperately want to hear, your side of things, because like, they're at a point in their life that they need to attract that right type of female in their life. So like, for everyone that's listening, like this is not going to be some bullshit ass channel. Like you're not going to hear us getting into some sloppy shit. Like we might talk about fucking, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be some healthy stuff. Like we're gonna, we're not gonna be getting into the drama and stuff like that. This is no TMZ channel, but like if you're gonna be on this channel and you're gonna take this information in, like it is truly and genuinely to help you become a better person. And with that being said, like for me, like you're a badass girl, like you're a catch, right? And I'm gonna eat those words later. And
they're
literally
now recorded.
And like so I get the questions all the time too, like how'd you find Heather, or how did you all these different questions that like if I weren't sitting down and truly thinking about, was I attracting the right type of girl in my life? Like, what was the things I was doing, to make sure that I was ready to support that healthy mindset, or, something like that? Because, I mean, you're a badass bitch. Like, if I was not in a situation, whether that be, not to say it's about money, but I feel like from a woman's standpoint, this is where all this stuff's going to break out. I'm really excited about is, but like you do look for what I would assume financial stability, mental stability, a few different things. What? No,
I think that's like the men's perspective on it.
and it probably is.
If you look back at our relationship, we were best friends for so long, and like I always thought you were hot, but like I guess just the things you were doing, like that wasn't what I wanted in a guy.
I wasn't ready.
You weren't you were a boy then. You weren't a man yet. No offense, but
Facts.
and then like as we got older, but still too, like when we got together, we both were in like hard times, and I supported you in money. You know what I mean?
No,
so
you
like, it's not necessarily
did.
that you have to look at, that kind of thing. It was just that you mentally finally were at a place that I was like, man, he really grew up, and I could really see something working with this, and we could really build something together. So like, that's your perspective on it, but that was how I looked at it.
No, and these are the kinds of things that we're gonna break down because everything a lot rides on from my guys, from the feedback I get, is that financial stability, because there's a majority of us in that group that are entrepreneurs, right? And so like for some of our niches and industries, it's feast or famine, so it's like you feel like that knight in shining armor when like shit's killing it, but then all of a sudden, if you're ever in fear because you're in one of those down slopes, or in one of those situations that is that famine, you should never be worried about whether or not your significant other is just going to bounce because of that. And that's not the way this channel is going to be set up. That's not the way our relationship is. So, I want to definitely get into that later on, but to get into the true meaning of like Unchained, it's not just about those relationships. It's not just about the personal and the professional. It's not just about, raising kids. It's literally everything that goes into, who we are at our core, and not that it's the Zack and Heather show, which is not what we want. But it's the lessons we've learned from people that are light years ahead of where we are currently and where we're trying to go. And basically it's us taking in this knowledge and this wisdom and consuming it for ourselves and weeding out the information that we know that we can actually implement into our lives, and then, putting it out there for y'all to, hopefully pick up on those cookie crumbs as well. But, Unchained empire. What does empire mean to you? What does it mean to unchain your empire?
For me, when I think of empire, I think of a mass. I think of everything that we have built and we are building. Like, that is our empire. And unchained to me means it's just unlock the doors to everything. Everything's open. It doesn't matter if it's money, if it's relationships, whatever it is, the door is open, and now it's your time to grow and build that empire. And whether it's by yourself or it's with your partner. And that's how when I think of empire, like, I don't think of like, Lord, what is that show called? Game of Thrones, or whatever, like all that shit. I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't think of that. Like, I actually think of a mess. I think of a lot of, not necessarily a building or buildings, like just your empire, your growth is what I look at.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's definitely like what the path we're on for sure. It wasn't until I started writing my book and really digging into some of the true lessons that I learned and some of the heartaches that I've experienced, because everyone has a rags to riches story, right? I feel like every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there right now is like trying to get over on someone by using this like rags to riches story to portray this like overnight success. And that's not what this is going to be about. It's been 4 years of overnight success that you see here. Everyone sees what we've done, and they don't realize the times that our bank accounts have been negative, the times that our cards have declined, the times that we've sold everything that we had, to get here. And so for us, like, we want to be open, we want to be honest, we want to be transparent in everything that we've done, because it's not always been easy, but, through everything we go through in life, personally or professionally. But this is the way we fight. And we haven't always been perfect on this, but like, we're going to fight it. Fuck you. It is what it is. But like, our objective is, when we do fight, to never have the same fight twice. Right. And that's also what we are doing inside of our life, both personally and professionally, is like, we're gonna go through stuff. You're gonna go through stuff. Some of that shit's hard.
Ugh.
Some of it's heavy.
Yeah.
Some of it's bad. You know, but you can go through that shit and in it find the lesson there to make sure that that never happens again. So in my opinion, it's actually not a loss. This is going to be a win because I'd rather learn these lessons right now than 10 years, 15 years from now, then when there is extra zeros or extra commas on it, when, you know, my daughter's 3.5 and not 13, right? Like I want to learn some of these lessons now and get the shit out of the way so that we can go on and to truly build our empire.
Keep growing.
Yeah. Much larger than what it is now. Yeah. So, you know, for me, I kind of want to, you know, explain to you guys so y'all have a little bit deeper understanding of why we're bringing these together, because I think that it's going to take, you know, my men getting to experience your side of things, but also your approach with the empowerment and the healing. And I know that we share a lot of the same. There's a lot of crossover onto the things that we focus on in our groups, but vice versa. Some of your women might need to hear a male perspective on some things, and you know, be pretty blunt about, you know, how serious some of these objectives are. But anyways, so I run Uncaged, which is a men's only accountability group. And what do I mean about accountability? Like I said it earlier, what's the point in having a goal if you're never going to do anything to achieve it? So we basically, we set up our goals. And all these goals are based on, I took my marketing experience. People spend money to make money, and save time. So I knew that. So I was like, all right, there's a need there. So let me build this into my program. And then I started looking at the industries that people spend the most money in, and that's health, wealth, and relationships. Okay, cool. So we took those 6 concepts and put this into a program that allows my men to go in and just set actual goals in every one of these areas. So we've got our health, our wealth, relationships, making money, and saving time. I bring in experts based on these, and we go in chronological order, and we actually work our way down, and we get to the real root of how to fix the issues. And it's been really cool because I'm a firm believer that, you know, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a life, right? And so for that, it's not coming in and they're not order takers. We're not saying, hey, go do this, go do this, go do this, go do this, send them on their way. We're getting down into the science behind why we do this. We're getting down into the true reasons neurologically on why you operate a certain way and how to overcome that and how to set new habits and neurocycles and how to truly fix yourself in your health, wealth, and relationships. And then, you know, making money, and saving time. So it's been really, really cool. And I'm very, very big on, we keep each other accountable. We have 2 calls every week. One's an expert call, one's a roundtable call, but we literally break down everything and we reverse engineer it all the way back to daily tasks. So we'll take these big, audacious goals, and they're scary to some, right? And like you'll hear some people talk about, you know, shoot for the moon, land on the stars. And I love that concept, right? But also too, it's like, shoot for the moon and fucking land on the moon. You know what I mean? And yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what we've done is we've taken these big audacious goals and we break them down into quarterly, monthly, you know, weekly, and then even daily goals. And I guess it was 2 or 3 calls ago, I even had them break it down into hourly goals. So, you know, we're hyper focused on, you know, keeping each other accountable, having each other's backs, not being yes man, and making sure our dudes do what the fuck they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. So I'm going to bring that vibe and that vision to this channel, and I'm excited to hear what you and your ladies are doing and what y'all are going to bring to this channel.
So Unleashed is, so right now it's just a Facebook group, it's a Facebook group that blew up really quick. We started with I think overnight it was 50 people, and then the next day it was 80, and then we got to 100 something. I was like, well, that's cool. And then the week later it was 450, and then we made a post about it, and it literally in one night went to 1,200. I was like, holy shit, now what? So I'm still in that process, I think, of trying to figure the fuck out what I'm doing. The reason I even started it is because apparently I have this calling. And I don't care where I'm at. I don't care who's around me. Someone finds me, someone talks to me, someone cries to me, and someone tells me thank you. Like it happens everywhere we go. That's kind of how I got into all this. And I think it's just because I have like that energy where like it's comforting. I want you to come talk to me. And I've gone through so many things, but I've learned so many lessons through those things, even though they were terrible situations. I grew from it. I overcame from it. I used all that energy to become the person that I am now. And everything that I did, I wanted other women to actually do it and feel the way that I did. So I made the group, and it's been amazing. I mean, it's nonstop. There's so much support. There's so much love. There's tons of motivation. Every day we have a different theme. I think Friday is probably the biggest one. It's Freaky Friday, so we're always talking about sex or different sex positions.
I love Fridays. I don't see.
Yeah, he doesn't see anything.
I don't see. I don't hear. I don't do nothing. But I know on Friday when I get this like crazy reach around, I know it's
there's
fun
a new position coming. But we do all that, and like that's the thing too. We talk about not just the fun stuff of, let's say, sex. We talk about the other darker sides of it as well. Like there's everything to it. Everybody in there is open and honest. Everybody's pretty blunt. I mean, because as women, we go through a lot of stuff and we have to do a lot of things. And so many women are embarrassed to talk about things. And in that group, ain't a damn person embarrassed. Either they just are fly on the wall and don't say anything, or they are 100% full into it. And I love it. I think it's great because it's such a need. Everything about this has been such a need for women to come to and feel safe and just talk. The biggest thing that I want to do with these women is we're going to have the VIP group where you can come in and we're going to do kind of like what Zack and his guys do. We're going to have one call a week. Women are busy, man. Like we got to take over the household. We're cooking, cleaning, taking care of kids, doing the whole bit, work, whatever. So one call a week, and then we're going to have experts that come in too, and we're going to have challenges, a little bit of homework. Like you're going to have to do the fucking work. I'm over the whole, like, give me a magic pill so I can lose weight overnight. I'm over the whole, like, well, who can do this for me so I don't have to do? No, fuck that. Like, if this is what you want to do and be a better version of yourself, you have to fucking put in the work. So that's what our calls are going to be about and the monthly things that we're going to do. And it's exciting to see all these women that are like ready to grow and ready to learn. We're going to go over our past traumas and some of the traumas of the now and use all of that energy, all of that anger, just everything about it, and use that as the energy to build yourself up and build yourself to that better version of yourself. So I'm super excited to see where all this is going to go because it's already been like a whirlwind. Like it's still like I think about it, I'm like, shit, like what now what? So.
No, you're killing it. I'm super proud of you. This has been badass to watch you.
It's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's I can
it's a
I
lot,
can tell.
But it's fun.
I know I can tell when you're approachable with it when I should stay away. But no, dude, it's I'm really excited because it's two different dynamics that are still headed in the same direction, and I think that there's a lot of crossover. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think there's a lot of conversation. We're going to be opening this channel up for questions and answers from both the guys and the girls. We're going to be having experts on, so it's going to open up to being something that is, for us, by us, right? It's for the people that are trying to grow, for the people that are trying to be accountable, it's for the people that are trying to be empowered, for the people that are
doing the work,
willing to do the work, because it's not easy. But I mean, at the end of the day, pick your heart. Like, doing the work is hard, but suffering the consequences of not doing the work is hard, right? And
it's harder, honestly.
It really fucking is, and it's crazy to me because, we've been going through a whirlwind the last, I would say 120 days. It's been one thing after another, and there's been a few times where I've had to like just walk outside, take a breath, and do a little bit of, visualization to see like how far we've come from and realize that like I've got the blueprint to get through this. Like we've been through this over and over. Like I said it earlier, like we don't want to go through the same things twice. So like as you start to pick up on like, man, I've been in a situation like this before and I let it get me down and all it did was pulled me further and further down and further away from my goals, right? It's like noticing that sooner so that you can move on to continue building your empire, because everything you do, everything you do, I don't care what the fuck it is, it's either going to pull you one step further from your goal or it's going to push you one step closer to your goal. And that's what you need to discern and to think about. But I'm really excited about this. You know, I kind of want to end with giving some action steps, because I don't want, even though this is the intro video, like, I want y'all to have a reason to come back. And, you know, for me, it's, if you're out there listening to this and you're wanting to be involved or whatever the case, and you're wanting to grow, the best piece of advice, and be thinking about something to leave them with, is, you know, be your own hero. You know, there's a lot of times where, you know, me growing and being involved with a lot of these networks and getting up to the top and seeing how some of these people operate, I've realized that me putting my faith in other people is not the right way, right? And so for me, I have to be my own hero. I have to find the truths in myself. I have to find the successes and the wins and the desires in myself, and realize that I've made it through this and I can be this person that I'm growing to be, and looking at them, that future version of myself, and letting that person be my hero, no one else, right? Now, you can have mentors. I speak about my mentor, mentee, and my peer challenge and hack all the time. Like, that's something I truly believe in. I believe in having mentors and mentees. I believe in having, peers that you surround yourself with. I believe in having dream 100s, right? I believe in common denominators. You can read all about that in my book, but like, I want you to look at that version of yourself that you truly want to be, that is in your dream life. And I want that person to be your hero. So what do you got for them to leave them with?
I think for me, what I want everybody, doesn't matter male or female or whatever, to get out of the mentality of it's going to be easy. It's always going to be easy. Or if it's not easy, then I'm not going to do it. Like, I feel like we've gone through so much blood, sweat, and tears that we have learned, like, shit ain't fucking easy, and you have to work for it. And I guess, like, maybe just because recently I hear it so much of I just wish this would happen. I just wish this would happen. And, you know, why can't this be easier? Or why can't I find this? Like, because you're not fucking looking for it. You're not pushing for it. You're not trying to do it. Because if you were, then you probably would have already done it, or you'd at least be on your way. So, like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I want you guys to come to this and, you know, pay attention, like, actually be like, okay, they're talking about this today, and like, this is actually going to apply to my life because I'm going through the same situation, or I already have, but I didn't know how to get out of it. Like, pay attention to this, actually work on it, get out of the mentality of, well, hopefully it just drops in my lap and then I'm fine, because that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But no, seriously, thank you guys so much for being here. We're
excited.
Very Finally. Excited. Yes. Whew, very excited to bring this channel to you guys. Very excited about Uncaged and Unleashed, their channels to be, you know, I guess, is sex specific PC to say? Because I mean, it is. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Sue me.
We're cussing anyway.
Yeah.
I know. Like, we just have to do disclaimers. We're not fucking financial advisors. We're not doctors or, you know, nutritionists and trainers. Like, we're just fucking people. Two
regular people trying to lead with some impact. But
we're gonna talk about all kinds of crazy shit.
Yep.
So get ready.
So yeah, get ready, get a notebook ready, whatever you gotta do. You know, for this being the intro version, episode, just be on the lookout coming next week for next week's version or episode. Why do I keep saying version?
No
we're super excited to have you guys along with the ride. Just please connect with us on our Facebook page, Unchained Empire. Sorry. There's so many. I'm used to saying Uncaged, but Unchained Empire on Facebook. Go ahead and follow that page, because that's where you're going to be able to keep up with a lot of this. And as we grow this, we're going to be able to start expanding out and showing you guys all the different projects we have working on. We got some really cool stuff coming up, some retreats and some events and some really cool stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Again, it's
thank you guys.
Zack and Heather with Unchained Empire. We appreciate y'all.